Good day, everybody. I'm really happy to be here to tell you something about the data fabric and especially data fabric in life sciences. So the agenda for today is quite simple. First, I'd like to talk about a little trends and data in analytics, especially focusing on life sciences. What the role of data means in life sciences in this current era, and talking a little bit about the data fabric itself. I'm Ruud Nieuwboer. I'm based in the Netherlands. I'm the global head of life sciences within Entity Data Business Solutions, and I'm happy to be your host for today. So, first off, some trends in data and analytics. Let's start with the main customer trends that we see in life sciences. Those are on the left side, smart manufacturing. That means connecting your whole manufacturing environment with sensors and making sure that you retrieve that data to optimize your process. Second is democratizing your data. Is making sure that the data is available for everybody, but also for machines. An interconnected global network. As we see our companies are growing across the borders, we see also a strong need of sharing data together. Let's take an example, data about medical devices like the UDI, or data about pharmaceuticals in the serialization business. And last but certainly not least, one of the biggest trends is personalized medicine and personalized treatments, making sure that you have the batch of one. These are the four biggest trends, and what is now the main component in these trends? All of these trends are working on a very strong data-driven basis. From smart manufacturing to the global network, all sharing data, making use of data across the whole value chain. Some trends in data and analytics. Of course, we cannot have a single presentation that doesn't talk about AI and machine learning. One of the biggest trends at the moment, but I will get back to that later on. Big data analytics, because there are tools available that can support you with a large breadth of data. You can also perform analytics on very big chunks of data. Already said, data democratization, making sure the data is available for people, but also for machines. Linked to AI, linked to big data, is making sure that you tell a story about your data. Visualize the data in compelling presentations, making sure that it's not only numbers that you talk about, it's not only graphs that you talk about, but you can also predict information and tell a story that is much more enticing for the viewer. As we are living in a cloud world at this moment in time, there are a lot of cloud services that can provide you information or can provide you tools for storing data, making sure that data is available. And the last is ethical AI and ethical analytics, making sure that your algorithms are not biased, mitigating the bias and safeguard fairness and transparency across models. But there's also a different trend going on at this moment in time. I hope you know something that is called the Gartner hype cycle. There's obviously also a hype cycle for artificial intelligence, where we can see the nice curve going up from innovation to the peak of expectation, and it goes a little bit down because the expectations cannot be met. As we can see now on the screen, generative AI is on the slope going down through the through of disillusionment. A couple months ago, it was still on top of the hype. A lot of expectations about AI, but suddenly we see a change in that behavior. And there's a specific reason for it. And I would like to tell you something about it. We took some information from different news outlets, and we saw that example from the Wall Street Journal AI work assistants apparently still need a lot of hand-holding, where in the first cases, we thought, hey, AI can take over my work and I can sit down and make sure that AI covers my work. Apparently, that is not really the case. A lot of companies are struggling with the return on investment of AI. And last but not least, payoffs of AI are lower than they expected. And there's a reason for it. We see in the world that we are living in as entity data that a lot of our companies are trying to skip steps into becoming more data driven, making use of advanced analytics and, for in this case, generative AI. You first have to make sure that your whole organization is ready for AI, so that you have a strong organizational and data strategy, making sure that you have the capacities to run Gen AI, run machine learning, so embed data literacy in your organization. Have a strong focus on your data quality and the data that is already residing in your organization. And certainly not least, take a good choice about your data platform and what you want to do with your data. Data integrity is one of the pillars of our industry, so it's always important. But why is it more important now? Well, we see, especially in Europe and in the Americas, that the regulatory bodies are actually pushing organizations to become more data-driven. They see also a very strong role of data in developing new medicines and treatments and helping our patients around the world. As mentioned, data quality, integrity, and security are obviously key focus points for all of our organizations. The data that you already have is often in a lot of documentation, paperwork, because our industry is still a lot paper-based, and it's actually a gold mine of information that we have right there. Life sciences is obviously known for its scientific background. So the data that we have and that we are using is often of a high quality standard. But it's also often in documentation. So in written forms or in PDFs or whatsoever. So the data cannot really be extracted at this moment in time, but there are tools for it. Next to that, data is coming out of every part of the manufacturing organization. For example, we have high controlled environments where the data is being used to make sure that we deliver treatments and medicines on the highest quality level, making sure that the cold chain is adhered to, making sure that the clean rooms are being cleaned, so the particle counts are done, making sure that the water that we use for cleaning or for the production process is of the highest quality standard. That's all being measured by data. So going from trends, going from the importance of data in the life sciences industry to what we call a data fabric. But first, I would like to explain you a little bit about what a data fabric actually is. There are a lot of buzzwords going on at this moment in time in our industry, especially from a technology perspective. We see data warehouses, we see a data lake house, a little bit more extravagant. A data lake is for many of our people quite known already, storing data uncontrolled in a large lake, if you may say so. But on top of that, we see more methodologies, like a data fabric and a data mesh. Let's focus, for this case, on the data fabric. It is, as you also can imagine, a fabric that makes sure that all of the, in this case, technology is knit together in a certain fabric, making sure that you can make use of it. If we then look specifically for data fabrics and data platforms in our industry, we see that a lot of our standard data platforms are not suitable for the industry. There are reasons for it. Because of standardization, because these platforms are often industry agnostic, as we say it, they are missing main connectors to specific life science systems. Let's say a LIMS system, let's say a QMS system, let's say a MES system or an ERP system. These connectors are often missing because they are not abundantly available in these standard platforms. Data quality and integrity are not at the highest pillar of these systems. And that's where there is a mismatch between the compliancy of our industry and the goals that we strive for as an industry, because data quality and integrity should be on top of that. Data platform often doesn't provide specific use cases for our industry, making it also complex for our customers to build upon these platforms the use cases that they specifically want. In the next slide, I will show some use cases and to give you some inspiration on what the possibilities are, making use of a data fabric, making use of your data to build applications and algorithms. The cloud and compliancy, that is often a very tricky point. Compliancy, especially from a GXP perspective, is not available in all of the standard services. That's why you have to make sure that the data fabric and the way you are building your services are compliant with regulations and compliant with the standards of the industry. So that leaves me to point 5. Limited industry-specific service portfolio. The data platforms can offer you a wealth of technology. There's no actual service platform around it. So what happens if you have an issue? What happens if there's an upgrade? How will you be informed? How will be the applications informed that you build upon that data platform? That's why there is a specific need for a compliant cloud solution, but also a compliant service offering around it. Pictures often tell a lot more, so that's why I've written down the GXP Data Fabric in a more easy form. Where you see from the left all of the data sources that can be internal systems, like already mentioned, LIMS systems, ERP systems, but it can also be external data. The FDA, for example, sends every month, I think, a list of side effects based on different batches that are in the market, and you can read that information into that system. Also information from scientific journals or whatsoever. IoT is there. So I told you a little bit about clean rooms, to take that as example, or a water loop in a manufacturing organization. All of this sensoric information can be streamed to your, in this case, data lakehouse, where all the data is stored. But also files or pictures can be sent into the lakehouse to make sure that we store the data in a central place. In that central place, the magic happens. There we have to clean the data. We have to harmonize the data, and we have to make sure that the data is available for what we call application. So applying the data in advanced reporting or analytics, and then making use of that data for large language models or machine learning. You want to do your own data science on it, you have to make sure that the data that you have is of the highest standard, the highest quality, and making sure that the data is reliable. And on the bottom right, you see that we can also build applications on that data. The middle side will be supported by a hyperscaler, You will all have all the information available, making sure that the data fabric as itself is also auditable, that you can see where the data is coming from, and the system is also automatically updated. Well, there's a trick. Automatically updated in a compliant environment, sometimes tricky because you don't know the effects. Well, the service platform around it makes sure that you will be notified when specific updates are there, and also be notified if they have an impact on your data or your applications on the right side. Some potential use cases, which we already discussed, that are possible if you have a clean and a reliable data set in a cloud platform like the Data Fabric. Combining all the data from LIMS, from MES, from ERP, and more, you can have the ability to build algorithms. So an algorithm to predict quality or an algorithm to predict your yield, making sure that you are having the right indicators in your manufacturing organization to optimize that yield. But also a large language model can build a generative AI model, for example, for your standard operating procedures. Scanning the machine that you are in front of and asking in normal language, please tell me the steps that I need to take to clean this machine. And we'll get that information from your SOP instead of reading it, which can cause errors. Collaboration with external parties, because you can democratize your data. It's also possible to have the data available for external parties. So connecting your value chain, connecting your supply chain with relevant information to, for example, manage your CMOs. All of these use cases have commonalities. We can together find multiple more use cases, of course, but there are some things that they all have the same over here. They are GXP relevant. So that means from a compliance perspective, they need a high standard. It's all about high data volumes, large file sizes. Let's take a example of a full genomic sequence that is already 10 gigabytes, or thousands of sensoric information that come out of your water loop in your manufacturing organization. We have a lot of different data types coming from SOPs, which is text, coming from videos or audios, or maybe pictures that are being done in the production line. So all kinds of different types are there. Again, data quality is paramount. Without good quality, the data will not be reliable. We have to use innovative cloud technologies to make sure that you can also make sense of that data. And again, many data sources, as you can see below, ranging from LIMS information, QMS information, SCADA information, external information, all need to come into a single data source. Need to be harmonized, need to be cleaned, and need to be made available. Therefore, we as Entity Data have built the GXP Data Fabric. It's actually a private data fabric for you as an organization to build your applications. It's compliant, and we call it a data platform as a service. It can protect your data and secure your data, making sure that only you can see the data. And it can analyze a large volume of data coming from different sources and create insights in your data that you never seen before. The GXP Data Fabric is one of the latest technologies that we built as Entity Data, and it's also supported by us as Entity Data to build a service portfolio for you to keep your data in check. You can rely on a lot of experience in the industry, but you can also rely on a lot of industry-specific project and technology experience. And that's it for me. The last sentence I want to give for you to understand it: everybody is ready for AI, except your data. That's the thing that we need to take care of. Thank you very much for your attention and enjoy your day.